He commanded one of the biggest audiences in the world, a connection that even the Beatles failed to create. Confident,
I love my job, but I hate talking to people like you.
full of energy that even Michael Jackson couldn't ignore. Freddie Mercury's unique style was pure magic on stage, something that also helped him create the most streamed song of the 20th century, and a band that sold 300 million copies to become part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's not as I'm just a musical prostitute, my dear.
But then something started to happen behind the scenes. Just when he was at the biggest stage of his career, his body stopped responding. His energy felt lower, and his face was speaking more than what he could hide. So what happened to one of the greatest singers in the history of rock music? And why no one will ever replace Freddie Mercury?
From Queen, thank you very much. Sayonara.
Before we continue Freddie Mercury's story, do me a quick favor. Subscribe to the channel if you love deep stories about music legends. And hit the like button as an advance payment. If the video doesn't earn it by the end, you can always take it back. And tell me in the comments, what's your favorite Queen song? Although with Queen, choosing just one feels almost illegal. It was one of the biggest concerts in the history of music, with 72,000 people covering every inch of the Wimbledon Stadium. Everyone was waiting to get a glimpse of Freddie Mercury. And the moment he showed up, the wait was finally over. Freddie may have sung a few songs, but was automatically connecting with each one of them in their own unique way. No wonder why it was voted as the best rock gig of all time in 2005. However, none of this would have happened if his parents did not help him escape a deadly revolution. In 1964, 20 years before this concert, Freddie escaped death by fleeing Zanzibar, a state in East Africa where black African majority decided to overthrow Arab rule in the region. Under the leadership of John Okello, around 20,000 Arab and Indian civilians were murdered. Fortunately, Freddie's father, who was a cashier at this British colonial office of Zanzibar, somehow managed to safely immigrate his family to England. Now, during that year, the Beatles ruled the rock band world. On one hand, Freddie just escaped death by arriving at Feltham, a town close to central London. While on the other hand, 300 fans were injured in Liverpool after 150,000 people welcomed the Beatles. But who knew that around 10 years later, Freddie would break the Beatles' record by launching one of the most iconic songs in history. While walking on the streets of London, Freddie did anything he could to survive the day. He used to work as a baggage handler at Heathrow Airport, something that was celebrated by British Airways as a form of tribute to him in 2018.
In honor of our ex-colleague, we've got this dance routine going. You'll love it.
I want to break free.
He also sold clothes at Kensington Market in London. His bandmate and drummer Roger Taylor had a stall in the market where they used to sell clothes designed for punks, metalheads, crafts, and other accessories. Freddie met Roger while studying at the Ealing Art College in London, but Roger never realized Freddie's hidden talent. So after trying different things to survive, Freddie, around the age of 23, decided to shift his energy towards something he always loved.
All right.
He remembered the piano lessons he learned when he was 7 years old. During that time, his father sent him at a boarding school in Bombay, India, where he developed an uncanny ability to listen to the radio and then replay the same thing on the piano. Moreover, during school time, Freddie also created a band called the Hectics, where he worked as a pianist. In a 2016 interview, one of the bandmates stated that the only music that Freddie listened to was Western pop music. One of his favorites was the Beatles. Freddie used to play ancient school piano and imitated rock and roll icons like Elvis Presley and Little Richard. He was just 12 years old at that time. A gift to the music world, a hidden talent that his friends and his teachers recognized in the school. And Freddie, in the beginning years at London, was still struggling to find out what he should do. But then he remembered the most important line from his school friend that changed his entire mindset. Why don't you be yourself, Freddie? Why don't you be yourself?
John went to school with Freddie Mercury, and
We call him Freddie Balsa.
is that Freddie Brazil? Yeah.
His mother was a great on the piano.
Really? See, we don't know that. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so that's how we got into the
Yeah.
music.
And then, from becoming an anthem in sports events to being rated as the world's favorite song in 2005. When Queen launched this song, the entire world was chanting their name. But the circumstances that made this possible were more than luck for Freddie Mercury. In 1970, a London-based band called Smile was on the verge of collapse. The members of the band were Brian May, Tim Staffel, and Freddie's college friend Roger Taylor. Now the band was heading in the right direction. They recorded several cover songs in Thames Television and played many gigs in West London. But when Tim Staffel decided to leave the band for Humpy Bong, that's when the gates of opportunity were opened for legendary singer Freddie Mercury. Brian and Roger were so disturbed by Tim that they lost the motivation to continue with Smile.
Thank you. I've been following you for a while, actually. Smile.
However, Freddie, who was in love with the band, advised them to continue with their dream.
I used to follow sort of Smile a lot, you know, we were like friends, I used to go to their shows.
He was able to visualize something bigger in their talent. It was like Freddie knew at that moment that they were meant to create music that will shake the world.
I think he sort of had in the back of his mind maybe, you know, some idea about maybe working with us.
So in order to restore their willpower, Freddie decided to become the lead vocalist of the band and launched their debut album, Doing All Right.
Yeah, he came to see us play. We had a little group called Smile, and Freddie came along to watch, and he was really, really enthusiastic and full of energy, like he was always, you know. And he came back and said, yeah, this is great, but you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, and you're doing this. You know, what you need is me. I mean, strangely enough, it happened.
I'll consider your offer.
Freddie was so inspired to exploit this opportunity that during this time he also changed his last name from Bulsara to Mercury. He did this after writing this song called My Fairy King, where a line in it says, "Oh Mother Mercury, what have you done to me?" Now there have been many interpretations to why he changed his surname to Mercury, but one of the closest interpretations was made when Freddie himself explained the reason behind it in 1975. He said this to Queen fan club biographer, that it's after the messenger of the gods. I remember it as if he just said it to me. Turns out he was actually a messenger of God in the form of music. During this time, Freddie also changed the name of the band from Smile to Queen. At first, Roger and Brian were unsure of the name, and to convince them, Freddie said, "It's very regal, obviously, and it sounds splendid. It's a strong name, very universal and immediate. I was certainly aware of the gay connotations, but that was just one facet of it. It's wonderful, dear, people will love it." The name became more convincing when Freddie himself created the band's logo and encrypted several positive messages inside. For example, the lions in this logo, the angels and the scorpion represent the zodiac signs of the band members. Here, angels represent the Virgo sign of Freddie. If you look at the top, the entire logo is overshadowed by legendary immortal bird Phoenix, and the entire logo looks similar to the royal coat of arms of the United Kingdom. Surprisingly, the logo was made in 1970, and Freddie was already living in the future, because he knew what he was going to create next. Unfortunately, their luck was not ready to support them now. 2 years after forming their band, Queen performed at Bedford College, London. Hoping to attract a younger audience to their show, the band was surprised to witness only 6 people in the audience. By not giving up hope, in the next few months Queen performed several live performances, but the response from the audience was similar to what they witnessed at Bedford College. This level of rejection may have created doubt in the mind of Roger and Brian, but Freddie was crystal clear about the future of the band. Inspired by the rise of David Bowie, during that time, Freddie stopped all live performances for the next 8 months.
Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low.
Now their only objective was to create a powerful impact with their debut album. So for weeks and months, Freddie and other Queen members spent day and night in finalizing their debut album. You can also see how Freddie became a significant part of the band, even teaching Brian to test different rhythmic levels and not repeat something that was already done before.
More rhythm, more rhythm. Can you do one that goes da da ba ba wow? That's what you did on the other tape. I'll do on a different tape. All right.
And when their debut album was ready, when they were confident enough to make their mark in the rock band world, it was time for Freddie to express his magic on the stage. In 1973, Queen promoted an unreleased album on BBC Radio 1, and their song Keep Yourself Alive was like a massive spark in the music world. And that spark was Freddie's energy on stage. Even through the radio, anyone who was listening to this song was able to feel and connect with Freddie's energy. Everyone was eager to find out about the lead vocalist. Maybe that's why it was ranked 31st among the 100 greatest guitar songs of all time, and the album at 54 in NME's 100 Greatest Albums You've Never Heard. Now, critics at first, including Rolling Stone, considered Queen as a copied version of Led Zeppelin, an English rock band who launched their debut album in 1969. The Rolling Stone was already calling them the new Led Zeppelin, yet at the same time, they were calling Queen as a truly influential force in the rock world, even accepting that Queen was adding a fresh, energetic touch to the music industry.
How would you describe yourself as an artist? Would you say that you're a very organized person, very spontaneous person, or how would you say?
No, myself as an artist, I'm just a musical prostitute, my dear.
However, Freddie was his own unique version, something that no one can copy. The success of their first album was a tiny glimpse of Freddie's legendary talent, his unique 4-octave vocal range. This is something that very few singers are born with. For example, singers like Paul McCartney, Prince, and of course Michael Jackson can stretch their voice to any level they want. And Freddie, on the other hand, was simply using the gift he was given from God.
That's my voice. I think most of the time I actually misuse my voice because I'm not having.
But then in that same year, Freddie got engaged to Mary Austin, a woman with whom Mercury enjoyed every moment of his life, but also suffered the pain of losing the only woman he loved the most. Freddie and Mary's relationship was more than what a married couple can create. They met at a fashion boutique store in Kensington, got engaged in 1973, and split up after 3 years of engagement. Yet the relationship was bigger than anyone Freddie met in his entire life. In a 1985 interview, Freddie himself confirmed, "All my lovers ask me why they couldn't replace Mary, but it's simply impossible. The only friend I've got is Mary, and I don't want anybody else. To me, she was my common-law wife. To me, it was a marriage. We believe in each other. That's enough for me." Now, the reason behind their split up was due to Freddie opening up about his homosexual relation with American record executive David Mintz. Nonetheless, Freddie was so connected with Mary that he actually bought her a house of her own at 12 Stafford Terrace, Kensington, just so he could stay close to his best friend. This also shows his personality, how loyal he was when he fell in love with a woman of his choice. Even after his death, Freddie willed 50% of his home, his cats, his garden lodge, and all his privately owned shares in the name of Mary Austin, while the rest of the property went to his sister and his parents. So you can imagine the level of trust and unique relationship Freddie had with Mary. However, before leaving this world, Freddie perfectly knew what he was going to do that would make the world remember him, not for a few decades, but for centuries. A few months after engaging Mary Austin, in January 1974, Queen performed at Sunbury Pop Festival in Australia. As they arrived late, the crowd taunted them by saying that they expected some Australian-based bands. This behavior disturbed Freddie so much that before leaving the stage, he said, "When we come back to Australia, Queen will be the biggest band in the world." And in 2011, the entire Australia was dancing to the tune of this contestant. The same man who managed to reach the semifinals of the show. All of this was not a coincidence. The reason why viewers commented in this video, "There will never be another Freddie Mercury," is that Freddie created something that no one can actually imitate. No matter how much they try to act like him, no matter how much they try to dress like him, because the way Freddie controls the audience at the palm of his hands,
Fuck you.
The way Freddie convinces the audience to sing along and take them to another world was never witnessed before. However, to reach this stage, the road was not easy.
Our British contender in said contest, Freddie, good start, Mercury, ladies and gentlemen, do your stuff, Fred.
A year before releasing one of the greatest songs of all time, Freddie was invited to Capital London breakfast show hosted by radio disc jockey Kenny Everett. As both of them were entertainers in their own fields, the two connected so deeply that they felt like they had known each other for decades. Fortunately, this friendship turned more fruitful when Freddie shared an advanced copy of the single Bohemian Rhapsody. Freddie was not confident if the song would be successful or not. He was worried if any radio station would play this 6-minute song. But when Kenny heard it, he immediately said this to Freddie, "Forget it, it's going to be #1 for centuries." Now enthusiasm was good enough, but the actual issue was to take permission from Capitol Radio to play this song. Surprisingly, Kenny played a trick that did not need permission to play. You see, instead of waiting for days to promote Freddie, Kenny acted as if he mistakenly played the song. For example, after playing Bohemian Rhapsody, Kenny said, "Oops, my finger must have slipped."
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time anywhere in this universe of ours, we present at this moment of time the new Queen single. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Interestingly, people love the song, that at one occasion during a weekend, Kenny played Bohemian Rhapsody 14 times. Soon after, the radio station was packed with multiple callers, inquiring when the song would be released. Fortunately, when the song was finally published, there was no turning back. Bohemian Rhapsody became such a huge hit that it became the most streamed song of the 20th century. And with 10 million copies sold, the song is the UK's third best-selling single of all time, and spent 2 weeks at the top position in Australia, the same country that once taunted Freddie for not being good. It's ironic how something that you think would not be liked by people becomes one of the most important parts of their life. Because if Kenny wouldn't have played this song intentionally or by mistake, then it never had become their signature song. However, this was just the beginning of Queen, as what was about to happen next was going to be too big to be handled by the audience, something that could have gotten Freddie arrested.
Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has a devil put aside.
Within a year after launching Bohemian Rhapsody, the world started to recognize the magical personality of Queen. To connect with the demands of fans, entrepreneur Richard Branson organized a free concert at Hyde Park, London. Now, before the event, the estimated audience was believed to be around a few thousand. But when Freddie made his appearance, more than 150,000 people showed up at the concert. That's more than twice the audience capacity Hyde Park could handle, which is 65,000. Fans got so wild from his performance that they wanted Freddie to sing one more song in the end. However, after witnessing the uncontrollable crowd, the police warned Freddie that if he tried to go on stage again, then they'll have no other choice but to arrest him. Nevertheless, the timing was also perfect for Queen, because in 1976, the entire UK and the world was dying to see the Beatles unite one last time. The band separated after John Lennon went solo, and promoter Bill Sargent was offering $10 million just to reunite at a concert. The same offer was later raised to $50 million, yet the band was clear about their boundaries. So witnessing the rise of Freddie turned out to be perfect timing for the UK and Queen. Freddie acted as a light to their emotional vacuum. His unique style of holding the mic at his hand and still being able to connect with every individual at the concert was able to shift people's focus from the Beatles to Queen. His bandmate Brian also agreed by saying, "Mercury could make the last person at the back of the furthest stand in the stadium feel that he was connected." Surprisingly, Freddie never knew that he could hold the mic in his hand and sing along by walking anywhere on the stage. This was discovered when once while performing on stage, he accidentally broke the microphone stand from the heavy bass, making him realize that it could be used in multiple ways. But he never knew that his unique style would be so in demand that Queen would become the first band to continue their world tour, while still performing live on television. This happened around the same time when BBC's Top of the Pops program was clashing with Queen tour dates. So in order to create a balance between the two, BBC played the video of Bohemian Rhapsody, while Queen could continue with their tour dates, and thus launched the concept of video as a tool for marketing on television. While on the other hand, Queen was rocking with fans on their world tour. The end of the 1970s may have brought a final end to the Beatles, but for Freddie it was his time to rule the music world. And that enormous rise began with Queen's sixth studio album, News of the World. Being remixed by multiple artists, used in films and TV shows to express their voice, Queen's We Will Rock You is a song that even today feels like coming fresh out of the oven. No wonder why it was inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame, and why Queen became the first band from out of the Americas to perform in Latin America. In front of 131,000 people, Queen did feel nervous at the beginning. They were in a different country, escorted by military police, and were being streamed live to 35 million people on television. Probably the entire Argentina and Brazil was waiting to dive into their magic. And when Freddie began the show, there was no turning back. Queen's Love of My Life topped the charts in Brazil and Argentina, stealing everyone's heart on the show. This right here is something that only Freddie could do. Something that also inspired Michael Jackson to collaborate with him on several songs. In fact, Freddie and Michael recorded several tracks like State of Shock, Victory, and There Must Be More to Life Than This. But then Freddie's clock started ticking.
Reports were being denied that Freddie Mercury, the flamboyant frontman of the long-running British rock band Queen, has been hospitalized with AIDS-related pneumonia.
A few weeks before performing at Saturday Night Live, Freddie secretly went to a New York City doctor. As he was having symptoms of HIV, he thought it would be sufficient to get himself tested. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with HIV after 5 years of this test. Yet he did not declare anything about this on the show. He was full of energy as always, wanted to keep his life private, and was ready to begin his next project. Around 3 years after visiting the New York doctor, Queen performed the best rock gig of all time. With 72,000 fans chanting his name, they raised $100 million to help famine victims in Ethiopia. It was a performance that astonishes the world even today.
And if I'm seen to be having fun on stage, I think it kind of comes across, which is good.
Most importantly, to those artists and fans who realized later that on that specific day at Wembley Stadium in London, Freddie had the symptoms of HIV, but he stood there fearless for the love of his fans. This was also confirmed by Brian, who was surprised by the fearless nature of Freddie. Because before filming These Are the Days of Our Lives, whenever Freddie walked into the studio, he said to his bandmates, "Write me more, write me stuff. I want to just sing this and do it, and when I'm gone, you can finish it off." It's like he knew deep down that he was going to leave this world soon, and he wanted to contribute as much as he could. The HIV symptoms were also witnessed in one of his last music videos. You can see how the infection was eating his body and turning it into a skeleton. Freddie was also facing difficulty walking. It was around this time when he retired at his Kensington home in West London, just needing the support of his best friend Mary Austin. Around 24 hours before his death in November 1991, Freddie officially issued a statement about his deteriorating health. He said, "Following the enormous conjecture in the press over the last 2 weeks, I wish to confirm that I have been tested HIV positive and have AIDS. I felt it correct to keep this information private to date to protect the privacy of those around me. However, the time has come now for my friends and fans around the world to know the truth, and I hope that everyone will join with me, my doctors, and all those worldwide in the fight against this terrible disease." Seeing the newspaper headlines on his bed was something that hurt him the most. His entire life he was joyful, energetic, and never had a sad moment on camera. But this was the only time when he wanted to stay energetic, live more, but couldn't do anything about it.
He woke up. He wants to go to the toilet. We were lifting him, and...
Before taking his last breath, Freddie wanted to go to the toilet, but didn't realize that this would be the last night of his life.
Said tonight they were planning a big musical event dedicated to their lead singer, Freddie Mercury, who died last night of AIDS. There have been tributes to his talent and his courage from friends and from fans.
Coming up in weather, John Burnett says died in England just one day after going public with the news that he had AIDS.
Now, many would speculate that Kenny Everett, who promoted Bohemian Rhapsody on his show, was the reason behind Freddie's death. Because AIDS arrived in London in 1981, and Freddie and Kenny explored homosexuality till 1984. So as Kenny also died from HIV just 3 years after Freddie's death, many would speculate the same. However, it's not about who was Freddie in a relationship with, and who caused this infection. It's actually about Freddie as a spiritual being leaving his magical mark on the world.
I'm a big ham, really. I just get on that stage and do it. I don't really take myself that seriously.
Even in his last years, he still wanted to spread positivity by not letting anyone know his disease. He always said, "I don't want to put any burden on other people by telling them my tragedy." And he fulfilled his duty by taking Queen to the world level and giving his legacy to his bandmates.
People think it was just a hologram, but it wasn't. I've stood on stage for 50 years, and I've never felt anything like that night. When I reached out my hand, something reached back. I can explain the technology. I can explain the timing. But I cannot explain the feeling not there.